All right,
What's
welcome
up, good
to
peoples? Welcome to Relationship Thursday. We are hoping that y'all are having a good start to your, not a good start, but a good conclusion to your Thursday. We hope all is well. You're about to see us in just 1 second. Yes.
It's Relationship Thursday, y'all, and we are happy to be with you, to be back in the room for another awesome Relationship Thursday. I hope y'all are ready for a good discussion, whether you are watching here in the Zoom room, what's up, Lamely, or if you are on wherever YouTube, wherever you be. I hope that this is good and you are enjoying it. I think we need something going on over here. All right, y'all. So for those who may not know, that's interesting. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm okay. All right. Okay. So if you do not know, this right here is my dapper, debonair, amazing Pookie Pie whose brain is moving as he's thinking about all of his technology while he's trying to still stay present.
Yeah.
I can see it in your face, but you like, or you like thinking about
Trying to
other
figure out a
things.
few things. This right here is the love of my life, my boo thing, my baby's mama, times five, my wife, Fiona.
Oh my goodness, amen. Now, let me see myself. Do I look like I got clothes on? I do have clothes on, y'all. You just let me pull that
What
up.
do you mean you got this? They can see this,
I know,
bro.
but it look like it don't look like I got nothing going on right here. I don't know. Anyway, I got clothes on underneath this thing. It just looks weird. Anyway, let's take this off out of the way, and let's continue moving on down the road. Tonight, y'all, we are going to be talking about communication. We're going to be talking about the ways we get in the way of ourselves, the sabotage that happens, how sophisticated and subtle it can be sometimes. We be so sophisticated with it that we outsmart our own selves, thinking that we are getting to a place of clarity or thinking that we're doing something good, and
Yeah.
we literally just fudging up everything. We just messing everything up. So tonight we're going to talk about that because communication is something, y'all. I mean, Ayuze was on, was that earlier? Oh yeah, earlier he was on live on Instagram and he was saying, what's like one of the number one things that folks are messed up around, and that flows through all of the domains of your life and your relationships, and particularly your intimate relationship, but really all relationships. And folks was like
Yeah,
communication,
definitely.
communication, weren't they?
Yeah. It's always, I mean, because when you think about just those different domains, whether it's money, sex, parenting, in laws, quality time, you got to be able to be in a space where you're communicating effectively in order to navigate those lanes. And so sometimes you're going to experience some conflict, some difficulties, some issues, some stress, or whatever the struggles may be. But if you can communicate effectively while you're in those spaces, then it just makes it all the more better, all the more easy um, to get through. And so we're lifting this up because we know a lot of people struggle with it. And we're also lifting this up because we got our 4 days to more effective communication challenge happening next week.
Yes.
Yes, we do. And so we want you to go to blamchallenge.com to register to get your seat. We want you to upgrade to VIP too, y'all. Just be different in the VIP room. So make sure you
Yes.
come and join us. And it's going to be on and popping. Another thing too, y'all, that we've noticed is that when it comes to the way people are navigating their relationship, like this communication piece is so significant and serious that sometimes you'll have people that are not talking, aren't expressing their thoughts and feelings, aren't fully engaging because they don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to say it, but there's a desire to actually connect and communicate. And so when we're doing this work on a regular basis, like we're trying to coach people through the process of this is how you get in position. This is how you manage your cadence. This is how you pay attention to your tone. This is how you watch your energy, your body language. And so we're doing these things, and sometimes people still feel stuck. And so, during this live stream right here, we're going to reinforce and emphasize the fact that a lot of the stuckness is because we be sabotaging ourselves and getting in our own way. And what we want to do is help you to disrupt that, not just tonight, but also next week when we do the 4 days to more effective communication challenge. So make sure you go to blamchallenge.com to sign up and to get your seat for this phenomenal experience because it's truly going to be a dope experience. And so tonight, y'all, again, we're talking about five ways you sabotage communication in your relationship. What say you?
What I'm saying is, look, I'm sorry. Why is this going on? And can you get this up off the screen?
You just put that up on the screen.
I did that.
Yes, you did do that.
Oh, okay. Because it's messing me up. It's just, I tell y'all, I usually be having 55 million windows
But
up
you
on the
the one that just
screen,
put that up.
and I'm like, what's going on? Okay.
So y'all
All
know
right,
we
y'all.
had
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna
yeah.
get into it.
So y'all know how we did last time, and we've done this before. But this right here is a interactive experience where we got some folks, the folks that are on YouTube, the people that you see here on the screen, the names and stuff, they're a part of our Blamily, and so there may be something that we say that hits a chord, hits a note, and you may want to come forward and speak on that piece. And so we may invite some folks to come forward to share your thoughts, share your feelings, share your perspective. And what I can say is that when we've done this and people have expressed their thoughts and feelings, like the people on YouTube be resonating with what y'all say. So don't be shy. If you got something that you want to say, raise your hand blandly, and we'll definitely bring you forward.
All right. Okay, y'all. So we're going to share with you again 5 things that we do to sabotage our communication, and I'm going to start off tonight by just going right on up in there. Some of y'all have something called selective listening. Selective listening. What is selective listening? Y'all already know because this ain't the first time you'd heard this, and you may not recognize that you do this, or maybe you say your partner does this. But this is really, y'all, when we are talking about an issue, you're dealing with a situation, and you are only, now you may be listening or you may be hearing everything that's being said, but you're really only listening for the things that really confirm your preconceived notions or your biases. And when your partner shares with you, they explain their rationale or they explain, with more detail, some context about where they were coming from, what they were thinking, and they put 5 things to it, and you take these 2 things at the front of the explanation. And you say, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You go in on all of that, but you don't acknowledge anything that they've said that really would help you to come to a better understanding. Selective listening sets you up for sabotage because you only will acknowledge what confirms your own biases.
Yeah.
Therefore, the conversation then becomes one-sided, and you are pushing your point. You're pushing the conversation in a direction that does not validate, acknowledge, or lift up your partner's full experience. What they said, whether you agree or not, is not the point. Folks don't really understand how important that is, because it's one of those things. Have y'all ever seen? This is exactly what it reminds me of. Now let's see if I can see how to explain this. But I use it in our movie watchers, and when we see a movie, all of y'all, when you see a movie and you like the people get mad at each other, it's a couple, and they the girl is like, you cheated on me, right? Everybody been watching knows he didn't cheat. It was just that he was going to give this other woman the something so he could surprise his wife or something, right? But she's like, and then doesn't that frustrate you when it frustrates me so much.
What frustrates you?
When that happens, and I just say like, damn. Well, she's like, no, just get out. Just get out. No, I'm not talking about it. I'm like, God damn, like let him say something so that you can hear what he was doing, right? And she's like, no, it doesn't matter. And then he gives up. Well, what's up. And I just like, bro, if you would have just gone and tell it was like, it's really simple.
Yeah.
So it is similar to that, in that sometimes we are so quick to just look at what we want to look at, and we won't pay attention to the rest of the story. We won't even make room for it, that we create confusion for ourselves. And now we got to wait in the movies. We got to wait for, a whole nother 30 minutes of them not talking for, 2 months. And then it's 60 days later. Now they come back and I should have listened to you. You damn sure right. You should have listened. And that's what some of y'all be doing in your relationship, right? Just popping off and not really taking the time to really engage your partner fully. So that's just
yeah. I mean, this is good. And because you just gave that example, I want to concretize it a little bit more, just simply because we watched a show recently. Anybody familiar with BMF? Black
Clearly we are.
Mafia
We
family.
always be bringing that joke up.
Yeah, BMF. So we've actually used clips in that in our Black Level and Film Scene Analysis, which will be happening during the challenge.
Yes.
And VIP participants will get a chance to engage. And so if you're a BMF watcher, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But Charles cheated on his wife. And so when my wife speaks about this whole confirmation bias piece, selective listening, Charles was out trying to surprise his wife. What's her name? You can't remember. But Charles was trying to surprise his wife after he had stepped out on her. He's trying to get back in her good graces, and she's brushing him off. And Lucille, thank you, Spencer. Lucille is like, no, I don't want nothing to do with you. And so, spoiler alert for those
Lucille
who have
all the
not
way
watched.
checked out. She all
Yeah,
the way
she
checked
checked out,
right
y'all.
now.
And so Charles is like, yo, I'm going to be meeting with this lady who's the choir director to have her help me out to create a song with, for my wife.
You didn't tell her that.
No, I'm saying he's thinking this. So this is his thought.
Okay.
And so and we actually were just watching the show about this too. This is how you got lurkers and people that be in your space and can get in your ear and influence you to move in a particular way. But I'll get to that in 1 second. So Charles goes to meet with the choir director, not the choir director, but one of the singers in the choir. And he's meeting with her at lunch to try to surprise his wife with a song that he wants to create for his wife. And so he's meeting with this lady at lunch. Somebody behind the counter sees him meeting with this lady at lunch. And remember, Charles stepped out on his wife. And so the lady who's behind the counter is his wife's friend. So she goes back to the wife and says that your man is having lunch with another woman.
As she should.
And so she does this. And so the wife is like selective listening, selective memory, confirmation bias. But no, so he's having lunch. But just because he's having lunch, it don't mean that he's doing what you think that he's doing. And so again, your mind is programmed to think that something is going on. And so Charles walks in the house, a regular day at work. Lucille is standing there. I believe she had a baseball bat. She's standing there like, Slim, I gave you a chance and you were supposed to be trying to work your way back in my good graces. But I'm about to beat that ass.
She sure did.
And so she starts to come for him and he's like, hold up, baby, hold up. What's going on? He's confused. And she asked him, Charles, are you cheating on me? He's like, no, what are you talking about? And like Lucille is like, what's going on here? My friend said that she saw you having lunch with somebody. And so Charles is like, no, baby, I was actually working on a song for you. Lucille is like, no, you wasn't. I ain't got time for this bullshit. Like, I'm not really trying to be hearing what you're saying right now. You wasn't working on no song for me. But he's like, yes, I was. And so this right here, this selective listening piece is what my wife is speaking about in terms of like, if you have a history with somebody, you're going to have certain biases that you may decide to move with and that actually lead and govern how you flow. And so as a result, like it's hard for you to hear and maybe even believe what your partner is saying. So he actually pulled out his little guitar, started playing his music.
He had to sing that John on the spot.
And he had to sing, he had to prove it on the spot. He had to sing it and she softened up. And so I said all of that long story.
But then she went upstairs to get dressed to go out with that doctor.
They went upstairs and they did something. Yeah, they did it. Yeah.
Well, she went out with the doctor a week later.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, that's the show. Go check it out.
Again, y'all, you want to be mindful of the whole selective listening piece because you may assign something to what's going on.
This is true.
Based off of past history, and it don't necessarily need to be assigned.
That's good. That's good. If you're just joining us and you're watching on YouTube, Blamly members, remember this, you can go to blamchallenge.com, BLAM challenge.com to join us next week for 4 days to more effective communication. We're going to get into the solutions to some of these problems and issues when it comes to our communication. So y'all, the next one, and I wasn't sure I wanted to really talk about this one because this one might be something that, I might, do sometimes. I'm not sure how you say.
You need to tell it.
Tell me if I do it or not.
You need to talk about it now.
I don't know if I do this. I really don't, but I know that it involves a lot of words. So I'm an amplifier. But y'all, over-explaining, providing excessive detail, right? Or justification for what you did. It doesn't even have to be that you did anything really bad, but just really going into a lot of detail, particularly when there's a disconnect or there's something going on and your partner has said like, what's going on with this? Or I didn't appreciate this, or this wasn't helpful, or whatever, right? Like your over explaining can really obscure the main point that your partner's trying to get across to you. Now what we do is we take it and we make it about us, because the reality is that you may be like, oh no, let me help you out. And people say this all the time. How many of y'all know y'all say this? I just want to explain because I don't know if you really understood, because we really feel like we need to let you know, like, this is where I was coming from with that, or this was my thinking. And we really want you to understand because we want you to get it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, don't over explain your point, because it makes your partner oftentimes feel as though you are trying to minimize their feelings. You're trying to minimize their feelings because somehow if you explain it enough with enough words, I'm trying to hurry up because I'm over explaining this point. If you explain it enough with enough words, right, then somehow you'll be like, oh, that your partner will be like, oh, okay, no, they still gonna feel how they feel. And you need to make sure that you validate their point. Okay, I'm moving on.
That was
That
good,
was
man.
awkward.
That was concise.
I'm explaining the point on over explaining. Don't over explain. That's what's going on in my mind right now. Don't do that, Iana. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. That's number 2, y'all. We're moving on down the lane. Tonight we're talking about 5 ways you sabotage your communication in your relationships, right? And you cause your partner to check out and, all kind of things. This one is really important, y'all. We say it all the time inside of the Blamely because this comes up all the time because good, healthy relationships have these. But ignoring boundaries in your communication, thinking that it's not a big deal, right? That you're going to continue to talk about whatever because you need to get some things out and your partner just needs to deal with that and not respecting the fact that, like they said, nah, right now is not a good time. Like, no, I'm not trying to talk about that right now. Or, this is what I needed to look like, or like my husband has told me, like, how much time do you think we need? I'm thoroughly irritated that he asked me that.
Why you irritated?
To this day, I ain't never got less irritated with that one. But he be letting me know, like, how much, because I need to know, because I have, a certain amount of time. I'm thinking, what the fuck, But he's going to make time, right? And I know that, that's a reasonable request. Sometimes it's poor timing, depending on what it is and what's going on. But it's important to really give your partner space to recognize the way they communicate is not the way that you communicate. So if they need a little space and time after you have talked, and you waiting for them to engage you, and they're like, "Yeah, let me come back to you." Respect that. That's a boundary. That's a boundary, and a lot of us don't do those very simple things, but they're very, very important in communication.
And another piece as it pertains to boundaries is really looking at like trigger words in your communication. I want y'all to type in the chat, just some trigger words that you better not get close to. Just venture toward or even think about uttering to your
Trigger
man.
words.
Yeah, trigger words, trigger phrases, whatever it may
You don't
be.
need to having them trigger each other all up in the chat.
Yeah, but you might give somebody else a clue in terms of like what they bet not or ought not say in their relationship. And so, when
Don't say, "Oh, you must be on your period. You about to come on your period."
that's a trigger.
Yes, and you do it on purpose. You still say it. He's still doing it. He's like, "Oh, if we talking, y'all," he'd be like, "Oh, I know what day is it?" He do that on purpose. I know what's about to happen.
But is that really a trigger though?
It's your attitude.
Is that really a trigger?
It's irritating.
It's irritating.
Yes, it's irritating.
It's like just playful banter.
Whatever. This is your way to try to take jab at me.
So, so you want to make sure that you're communicating. If you don't know, communicate clearly what some of those soft spaces are, some of those trigger words and phrases, so that your partner knows that they're about to step into a landmine.
Yeah, that's a good one in terms of divorce. Some of y'all be ready to divorce every other conversation.
The D word, yeah.
Like that's a no-no. And if anybody does that, stop doing that.
Yes. Or even talking about certain members of your family. That right there might be a trigger as well. With the areas that you choose to talk about, and another piece too is that when you start to identify other folks, like your friends' relationships, or why can't you be more like such and such, and I want to go out like whomever is going out. Like when you do that, then it kind of can make the other person that you're in a relationship with feel kind of inferior or less than, or like they're not providing, they're not showing up in a way in which you would like for them to, and it's like you're starting to compare, and so that can be very triggering as well. I'm sure some of y'all may have heard, well, if you like their relationship better, why don't you go on over with them? Go over there. If they got what's good and what's gold over there, go over there with them.
Right. Yeah, and just to tag on to that one, sometimes people don't recognize this. I see this. I don't see this a whole lot. I don't know. You could say what you think. I don't see it a whole lot. But the kind of like this dynamic of one-upping each other. I do see that some couples have that dynamic going on a lot. There's a very competitive energy in the relationship, and so you're out trying to outdo each other in terms of like your experience versus their experience, or your feelings versus their feelings.
Yeah.
And I've done this much. Well, I've done this. You know what I mean? Like I do all of this work, and do you know what I get up and do every day? It's that going back and forth, and it creates a very competitive energy. It's that counting the cost and making your partner somebody who you are in competition with. You got to be really, really careful about that one, y'all, because when that happens, then the conversation and the communication it's much more difficult for it to get to a place of transparency and vulnerability. Because what do you do with your competition? You're trying to see where their weakness is. You know what I mean? Like if you compete with somebody out in the world, like, you know, how do I need to move with them? That's how some of y'all be doing with your partners.
Yeah.
You say, I'm gonna say this first, then I'm gonna hold back, and then I'm gonna do this.
Have you ever done that?
You know what I mean? No, I don't do that. That's you.
What?
Wow,
What you mean that's me?
down.
What you mean that's me? How's that me?
You say you got some of that in you. You know you do. That's why you asked. Is that why you asked the question?
I was really asking to see if you thought that you do.
No, you
talking about in terms of pettiness? So that sounds like
No.
pettiness to me.
No, I'm talking about a spirit of competition, like being competitive. Like you have in the past like said, like, and I say to you, like, I don't do that. Why do you do that? Where you'll like try to compare something that you're doing to what I'm doing. If it's like work, but I can't even think of a specific example right now. It could be work related. It could be something in the house, and you'll do a thing of comparing. Like, well, I don't, I do this and this, and but you do, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm not trying to compete with you, and you've done that. You don't do it a lot. But that's when I say sometimes, like, you act like an only child sometimes.
Yeah, you do model for me, like, you know, just what it means to be more collaborative. You do.
Oh, I do.
You do. I mean, you do. I mean, I know
Do you
at
know what I'm
times
talking about?
I do know it. I mean, I can't think of an example, but I do
can't think
know
of a
at different
specific.
points in
It's
time.
not that much, but you do it sometimes. You do it sometimes.
And then when you call me on it, it's like that's when I catch it. Yeah, I gotta check that.
Yeah. And so when I do that, let me drop another one in there. I give some feedback, and I give some constructive feedback. And another thing that will funk up your relationship communication is giving criticism without constructive feedback. So I have to say, like, at that time, I don't just be like, oh, okay, I'll talk about it later. I'll be like, why are you doing that? Do you see what you're doing? And so I will say, like, how that makes me feel. Not 100% of the time. Sometimes I don't. I just give them the feedback. But when I'm really doing well, I talk about how it makes me feel, because we say all the time, like, you know, you guys share a feeling, y'all. Share a feeling and then share some feedback. But when you give criticism and you don't give any constructive feedback, there's something he can do with that. There's something I could do with that. It's something we can all do with, like, you're pitting us against each other. At least that's the way it comes across when you say this. But if you're just criticizing without anything constructive, that also sabotages the communication. Because now, again, I have to defend against you. Now you're somebody that, you know, it's not me and you against, it's me against you. And you're bringing that energy. And so I'm going to meet you there. And a lot of y'all be ready to meet your partner right there. You know,
That's real talk right
a
there.
lot of y'all be real ready.
Yeah.
You know, so we got to really work on that.
Yeah, Yvonne, one of our Blamely members, Blam for Life, is on YouTube. She's dropping some comments here. She's saying that some phrases are calm down. That's problematic, or that can be triggering in a relationship. It's not that serious.
I can't stand that calm down mess. Everybody should know that. That's just one and if you don't, I don't know where you been.
Sometimes you do be needing to calm down, though.
That's fine, but you don't say that. You need to find another way. All you're doing is inviting me to turn up some more. I mean, am I the only one? And I'm not gonna turn. I mean, I don't even turn up like that no more.
Sometimes you can turn up. You don't turn up in the relax. I mean, you can turn up with the kids.
No, I don't.
You haven't in a while. What I would do, and I've shared this before, but what I would do is my wife, when she's having a conversation with some of our children, it sometimes may go left. You know, what ends up happening is that she'll, you know, her voice will start to elevate. And, you know.
And why is it don't go left?
It may go left because the kids, they be taking it there. Like, they don't want, unless they got something that they want to say.
I keep
and
that joint tight.
It go left.
It don't go left.
They go left.
Okay, it go left. According to you.
And so, you know, what she does is her voice will start to elevate. And so
You like to walk behind
I'll
me.
scoot on over towards
touch
her.
The back of my
and I'll touch her on her leg. I'll touch her on her back. The small of her back. I'm like, baby, pipe down.
I don't
say anything, but that's what the touch says. The touch says, bring it down, son. Does that help?
No.
Why are you looking like that? Like, I'm touching her leg right now, y'all. You probably feel irritated by the fact that I'm even touching you right now. It doesn't help when I do that.
Probably.
Yeah, pipe
Look
down.
at me, I'm trying to resist. I'm like,
I know.
probably.
Because, I mean, sometimes you don't see yourself, I don't think. I mean, which is and
No, I see myself and I'm fine with it.
so
But then
so
my husband
baby,
lets me know, like, babe, you doing a little much, and
is that helpful?
I'm deferring to, I'm paying attention to your perception and like, okay, well maybe I am doing too much. Because sometimes I be thinking that even you be thinking that when you think that I'm piped up, I'm like, bro, this ain't nothing. This is nothing. I'm at a level 3. You think I'm at a 10?
Nah, bro.
Okay, so but I think it does help for sure. It
So it's
does.
helpful when I do that.
Yeah, stop acting like I be having this joint yelling on the kids all the
You
time.
don't. You don't. So my wife, she is a master communicator, and 95% of the time, she be on
Oh,
point.
really?
Yeah,
95?
95. But it's that point five because you got. I mean, anybody that's got children, teenagers, and a lot of times you always got that one child that's gonna step on that right nerve. I mean, I know we're not the only ones. We're not the only
Mm-mm.
parents, and so again, you're gonna experience that. And so when they step on that nerve, sometimes you got to push them up off of it, and some of that's based off of you verbally expressing your thoughts in a what is it in a I wouldn't say in an assertive manner.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes my wife, her assertions be real assertive, and I gotta put my hand on her back and be like, "Boo, reel it in." Thank you, Ashley.
Ah.
Ashley said, "Yes, Lord."
Oh, I like that, Kimberly. She said, if you want me to calm down, hug me. Okay.
Yeah,
Don't even say nothing. That's good though. Look, that's good, Kimberly, because we all need to be telling our partner, like, this is what is helpful, right? But don't, saying calm down, but hug me. I already know, yes, hugging me don't help me. Okay, that's just me.
yeah,
That's
you
me.
be special sometimes. But it is what it is. But I love my wife for who she is, and
Like, get
and
off me.
yeah.
It's like, no, I'm just playing. Okay, y'all. If you're just joining us, we are what is this? Relationship Thursday. This is Relationship Thursday, y'all. And we are having a 4 days to more effective communication challenge happening on next week, the 22nd through the 25th. Okay, we want y'all to be in the room Monday through Thursday. Go to blamechallenge.com. I don't know, I was losing my words. Go to blamechallenge.com. So we've done 3, 4. This is number 5
I think
or
we've
number
done
4.
5, but it's a few more that I want to lift up. One is stonewalling, so just basically making a decision to shut down in your relationship
Mm-hmm.
and not engage your partner. That's one way of sabotaging because sometimes we want to skip over the issue and just experience something that's fresh and new. And so you think that by blocking it out, stonewalling, shutting down that your woman or that your man is gonna forget. That don't never work, y'all. I'm not gonna say never, but a lot of times that thing is just lingering, it's festering, they're ruminating, and they're just waiting for the opportunity. And also resentment is building up. And so again, if you think that you could just stonewall and it's gonna disappear and you're not gonna have to deal with it, yo, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but it's gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
And it may look like an absence of intimacy. It may look like you getting the side eye when it comes to you all, having conversations. It may look like a lack of trust. It may look like a lack of empathy. It may look like you not getting that meal that you was looking for. It may look like us not going out on dates. And so when you shut down in one way, there's a ripple effect in the relationship, and you want to take that into consideration because you may again think that you're beyond it or you're past it, but you're really not. So again, to take a time out is one thing, but the stonewall is something else. You're punishing your partner when you choose to do that.
Okay, so I do want to say something about this real quick because I do think people get confused about this. So earlier we talked about boundaries, right? And how
Hmm.
important boundaries are. So ignoring boundaries is a problem. So I'm going to say this. This is another one that sabotages communication. It's giving ultimatums. Giving ultimatums absolutely not only sabotages the communication, but in some ways it can really lead to a sabotage of your entire relationship. But I think sometimes people get confused because then they think, well, then that means that if I'm trying to set a boundary, then I shouldn't set the boundary because then isn't that an ultimatum? Like, I'm not saying like it got to be like this or this, because how is it a boundary, right? If I'm not being clear about what's going to happen as a result of you violating this boundary that I put in place for myself. And
Hmm.
it's a really small, nuanced difference, y'all. An ultimatum is really where you are trying to check the other person. You need to do this, or this is what's going to happen. If you don't do that, then this is what's going to happen. Like this is what it is. I'm checking you. You need to do this behavior, and either that or this or that. Right? It's kind of bottom line. When you're setting a boundary, y'all, the nuance. This is why we do what we do. It's all in the tone. It's all in the energy. It's all in the vibe. Right? Ultimately, You may be in many ways saying the same thing, but instead of checking the other person, Blamely members, I say this all the time to y'all, you're not checking them. A good boundary is about taking care of ourselves. So if we're taking care of ourselves, y'all, if we're taking care of ourselves, then the way that we share that is, I've been thinking about this. I've been praying on this. I've really been paying attention to the ways in which, I've asked for you not to overtalk me. I'm giving y'all an example, to yell when we're discussing something. It really just throws me off. It feels very disrespectful to me. And, I'm not going to be able to stay in the conversation with you. If that continues, just know I want to talk to you and I want us to be able to get somewhere, but I'm not going to be able to stay in the conversation. So going forward, if that happens, I'm going to tell you time out, and then I'm going to leave the room. That's what I need to do to take care of myself, because I don't want to continue to put myself in that situation. So that's not about me telling you, right? It's about me taking care of me. That's the difference between a boundary and an ultimatum. Ultimatums feel very aggressive, and boundaries are assertive. Uh, Ultimatums, feel almost violent sometimes, but boundaries feel peaceful. They may irritate your partner, but I'm just trying to maintain and keep my peace. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a difference there, and I want folks to recognize that ultimatum stuff. It's all about your energy, your tone, your intention, and where are you focused, on you or on them and what they need to do.
Yeah, ultimatums feel like I'm punishing you, but boundaries are more like I'm protecting me.
That's
So
it.
just, keep that in mind.
That's it. That's it. Okay, so I'm gonna do one last one, and one last one, but I had it right here in front of me. Lord have mercy. Where did it go? Um, oh wait a minute, y'all. It was one that I wanted to share with you guys. Um,
Go
okay,
to
so I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead.
What?
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So for all of my people who are not amplifiers, who don't use a lot of words, who are very succinct, this doesn't mean that this is you, but sometimes it can be persons who use less words can fall into this category, and that is the category of lacking clarity. You're lacking clarity. You haven't. You're having a hard time in your communication saying what you feel, what you think, what you need, and what it is. And so you're kind of hemming and hawing a little bit and don't even see that you're doing that. And you're not providing clarity. And when you don't provide, and usually people who communicate like that usually attract a partner who has a lot of clarity or is very definitive and maybe overdoes it maybe a bit. And so in many ways, you all both need to teach each other something, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. At the end of the day, though, we want to make sure that there is clarity in our conversation, because it leads to more misunderstandings. It leads to frustration, right? You and your partner are having, how many times you've had conversations around things, but you haven't really arrived at the decision or what you're going to do or what y'all are going to do. And so one person comes away thinking, I mean, we talked about it. I mean, I thought we were saying, and me and I used to have been in this situation. I thought we was saying we was going left. And then
Yeah.
I'll say, we was talking about the possibility of going left, but we didn't come to a decision. Right, we didn't say that clearly. Right, lack of clarity is really, really, really important. So make sure that you express all the things, and then lastly, generalizing. Generalizing. We said this in the past. I want to say it again. Using words like always, using words like never, taking your partner's behavior. You've been with your partner for 25 years, and for the first 7 years, they was always, I don't know, doing something. I can't think of an example. Doing whatever. Y'all at year 25. And now you still use the same issue from the first 7 years to generalize about their character, about how they be, about what they do, right? Generalizing. This is really not good, because it keeps your partner in a box. And sometimes parents do this with kids. They have certain personalities. We won't let them out of it because we give them nicknames for it and keep bringing it up. You know what I mean? So over generalizing about how you've experienced your partner, in many ways, even if you're doing it in jest, it can be hurtful, especially if it's a place where they needed to grow. or they need to grow. That can be hurtful, and it can just, it doesn't feel. They may not say, "I don't feel safe talking to you because you make fun of the fact that I boom boom boom." You know what I mean? They may not say that to you, but you're sabotaging the communication because you're making light of it, or you're coming for them, or saying, "We know how you do," that type of stuff. Those kinds of things sabotage the communication in your relationship.
Yeah, one last thing is that a lot of times, as much as we resist and as much as we say we don't want what it is that we have, sometimes we sabotage the communication in our relationship because we find comfort in the dysfunction. And so it's familiar to us, and we've established a certain rhythm. There's nuance, there's subtleties that I recognize. And so I do want it to be different, but a lot of times we're not doing the things that are required in order for it to be different because there's comfort in the chaos that we're experiencing. I just want to say this, that don't make this chaos your norm. Like, you have the capacity, you have the ability, in most instances, to be able to shift from this space, but it requires intentionality. You putting yourself in the right position, in the right place, and doing the needed work in order for that to take place. And so, again, don't just resign. Don't just sit back and say it's got to be like this forever. No, if you want to experience something different, you got to do something different. And so, and not just one time, y'all. That's the piece. So come to the 4 days to more effective communication challenge.
Yes.
Show up every day. Join our community. Implement the things that we're talking about on a daily basis. Trust and believe. There's ample amount of opportunity for you to practice in your life. And yes, we're talking about practice because it matters. Because you're going to find yourself in a situation in which you get into a conversation with your man, get into a conversation with your woman, and you feel like, damn, I'm stuck. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go high? Do I go low? But it's through the repetition, it's through the practice that you'll be able to have those skills and those tools embedded in you so that you can actually show up and, elevate your communication and have the relationship that you desire. It doesn't happen on accident, y'all. You got to be intentional. And the first part is you getting in the room. And when you get in the room, you may watch from the corner for a minute, but you need to get active, fam.
Get active.
Get active. Yes, get active.
Get active. All right, everybody. We thank you so much, YouTube, for watching tonight and for being with us. We're going to just stay back with the Blamley for a hot second and see if they got any thoughts or comments. And of course, go to blamchallenge.com to sign up for the challenge. Make sure that you do that. All right, we'll see you later, YouTube. Why are you just sitting here? I said see you later, YouTube.
I was gonna let them talk with YouTube folks on there.
Oh,
Yeah, you like fast. I mean, you're moving too fast.
this is what you told me it was. I'm just trying to follow.
Oh, you wasn't here last time. That's why.
Okay, so you switching it up.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Blamley, y'all got any questions, any thoughts? Raise your hand. If not, we will connect in with y'all soon. Definitely next week we got the challenge. But after that, y'all, we're gonna be kicking off a Love Wise series.
I know. You say so excited about this, y'all.
Yeah. This right here.
You've been like all in the books.
It's gonna be for the members in our community, for the folks that are just really trying to understand just what's required in order to have a healthy relationship. Primarily for the people too that are just like, dating in that dating space. So it's gonna be good, but it's not just for dating folks. It's for all folks who are in relationships, just to see like what might I have missed, what can I do differently. So that's gonna be kicking off the week after the challenge. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Those comments are funny. All right, everybody. Are we good? Because I'm about to go Love Wise. She said, okay, Love Wise. All right. We see y'all.
Yeah, we'll see y'all. I don't see no question. All right, we good, y'all. All right.
Bye,
y'all be
everybody.
easy. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Peace,
and peace out. Go to blamchallenge.com, YouTube. Peace.